Day 27 of Russian military offensive in Ukraine. Here's what's going on. Russia uses hypersonic missile to destroy a highly protected military depot in Ukraine.
The strike was successful because the Kinjal system is completely invulnerable and invisible to the air defense systems.
Biden reacts to hypersonic missile strike.
They've just launched their hypersonic missile because it's the only thing that they can get through with absolute certainty. It's a consequential weapon, but with the same warhead on it as any other launch missile, it doesn't make that much difference, except it's almost impossible to stop it.
Ukrainian forces continue using civil infrastructure as a shield for artillery. Aerial footage show Ukrainian rocket systems hiding behind the residential buildings.
We have shown absolute proof of the criminal use by the Kyiv nationalist regime of civilian buildings as firing positions for artillery and rocket systems.
RT correspondent reported from a similar Ukrainian firing site in Mariupol.
With the Donetsk People's Republic's militia units, I entered this 9-story residential building. This is an apartment of a regular civilian, but from this balcony, the Azov fighters fired an anti-tank rocket launcher at the advancing DPR forces, to provoke a retaliatory fire.
Zelensky repeats call for direct meeting with Vladimir Putin. Says Donbass and Crimea status can only be changed by referendum.
President will not be the only person making these decisions. It is a long process and it will be settled with the participation of the parliament and the Ukrainian nation. These historic changes can only be adopted by referendum. Our nation will have to give their answer to one or another format of a compromise.
Donetsk People's Republic says a half of Mariupol's territory has been liberated. 3 humanitarian corridors remain open for evacuation of civilians. Canada runs out of weapons to send Ukraine.
I believe that we have exhausted inventory from the Canadian Armed Forces to the extent that we are able to provide weapons, etc. As I said, there are capacity issues that we need to make sure we are on top of for the purposes of ensuring the Canadian Armed Forces is well resourced. And so as a result, we will look at additional options, including working with other allied countries.
Russia halts World War II peace talks with Japan in response to sanctions. Will not continue dialogue over disputed islands.